Okay, and we are live. Let's get a little bit of Wavebird shiny hunting in today. Yeah. Okay. Guess I gotta just add these waypoint markers first, though. Right around here's fine. There we go. Okay. Triggery, what is up? Welcome on back. How we doing today? Today I'm going to be trying out a little bit of Wavebird shiny hunting. Can't go wrong. Can't go wrong with hopping on the Wavebird. Thank you, sir. How have you been? What's been going on in the world of Philip? Sync these up a little bit here. I don't know. I'm looking forward to giving this a go. Giving this a go. A little bit of wave birding. Feel like you almost can't go wrong. Did play a fair bit of ZA recently. You, me, and everyone else, I think. But I was yo, Star, welcome on in. Oh my goodness, we got a lot of smiley faces. Okay, oh, let me try to keep up with everything here. Got shiny Nummel and shiny Pidgey. What are you shiny hunting for? Are you trying the Gibble hunt there, Philip? New game release usually makes you go underground a little bit, but you're done with the main story now. Perfect. So you're not going to worry too much about me potentially spoiling things for you, hopefully. How are we shiny hunting the fire starters? You're hunting mine with the double respawn method, having a drought right now despite having the charm. So yeah, the route that we're going to be trying is the one that I showed off in my most recent video. I don't have any way to prove it. You know, like, I think that this is the best method. I don't have any way to prove it. There's always a chance that, you know, just doing fast flies is better. But I think that just flying back to Centrico Plaza, running within 50 meters of the spawn points for Tepig and Charmander, and then flying back is going to be the best option. Make sure you get like all of the potential spawns for Tepig and Charmander with each reset. The nice thing about flying to Centrico Plaza is it is literally you just open the menu, you press Y, and then you press A. So in order to play on two systems, we are using a Wavebird. It's a wireless GameCube controller. We just have them both set to the same radio channel so that we can control both of the switches at the same time. The hope would be like someday, maybe to do more. But I just wanted to start out with this today. Yeah, and we're shiny hunting the fire starters. That's the hope for the day. We just got a Charmander there. Charmander on both, it looks. Getting... There's no logs, okay. Yeah, so it's the same method that we've used to multi-hunt on like the GameCubes. We've used this to multi-hunt on the Switch in the past, but I do think that this is going to be a nice one. Why don't you despawn them and then wait and just soft reset over and over? You can even use one hand. Despawning the starters wouldn't necessarily work because they're not guaranteed to respawn. So I don't think that works. Yo, it's Wahlberg. Thank you for the follow.
It's _Wahlberg followed and the lab has grown.
New to Twitch, just want to let you know how much you enjoyed that rare shiny video. Oh, thank you so much. I'm glad that people enjoyed it. It didn't perform, you know, I guess quite as well as I was hoping, but that's part of the game that we play on YouTube. And you know what? I'm excited now to kind of be back to just shiny hunting. You know, I just want to shiny hunt a little Charmander, shiny hunt a Tepig. You know, it'll be nice to just kind of be back to something a little bit easier than constantly doing deep research in. Just got to A rank for the sports ball. So you won't get this, just so you know, you won't get the sports ball until the end of the season. But if I was going to recommend some cool hunts, I mean, the hunt I'm doing today, pretty cool. I am looking forward to that potential of grabbing a shiny alpha Charizard. I don't know, I've never really been a huge Charizard fan. But I think that this is a really cool hunt in like the grand scheme of what hunts are available in Pokemon Legends ZA. And despite the fact that I don't love regular Charizard, I have to admit, like Mega Charizard X is pretty freaking sick. Have you seen differences in shiny Alpha Charizard? Do you think there's a male and female variation? I don't know if there's gender differences in Charizard. I know that there's gender differences in Venusaur. The like stoma of its flower is a different size depending on if it's male or female. Though I can't say I know for sure about Charizard. And yeah, Wahlberg, thank you so much. I'm glad that you enjoyed the videos. There was definitely a lot of research that went into the most recent one. I think that I was the first person to report on the fact that Pokemon can't be or won't spawn more than 10 meters above your head. As far as I know, a lot of other YouTubers were like recommending, oh yeah, just like bench reset for everything. And people were bench resetting for Mawile and not getting it because it was 10 meters above their head. I saw somebody actually test it a little bit more thoroughly yesterday as well. They saved, and like, so they saved, climbed up, and checked like the nature, or sorry, the gender and everything of the Pokemon that were spawning above their head. Then they reset, climbed up, and everything was different. Even though they were right next to the Pokemon, after like the save and reset, everything was different because they weren't spawning because they were 10 meters above their head. So I think little things like that was one of the reasons I chose to not watch any other videos. Like it might have in the long run actually maybe been the wrong decision. I didn't watch any coverage of Pokemon Legends ZA shiny hunting outside of like perusing through Twitter, but I didn't want to be at all like influenced by anything anyone else was saying. Everything in the video, I wanted it to be like, I came up with this was from my findings, this was my research. And you know what, because of that, maybe if I had waited 2 more days, we would have known a little bit more about Pumpkaboo and stuff. But But yeah, like I didn't watch any of the Austin Johns coverage or any of Philly Beats coverage or anything because it was like I wanted my recommendations to be mine. And I'm happy with how that video came out. I guess I haven't been live since it came out because I spent the last few days down in Toronto with my friend. But what do we know about Pump? So it seems like I actually need to get caught up on it. I'm not super familiar with exactly what the consensus on Pumpkaboo is right now, but it sounds like Pumpkaboo might have like very weird spawn conditions that cause it to not be saved or cached correctly. Now, I don't know, I kind of didn't think much about it when people first started talking about it because I think, unless I am mistaken, maybe I only got Goregeist, but I thought that possibly I had already gotten a shiny. Yeah, oh, so, okay, so yeah, I guess I only got shiny Goregeist, and I thought that I had gotten a shiny Pumpkaboo, but, yeah, it sounds like they might not be saved correctly. But also, like, one of the reasons I didn't necessarily cover Pumpkaboo in the video originally was because I kind of wanted to do two versions, and you guys can actually let me know here if this is the sort of thing that you might be interested in. I was thinking of possibly doing two versions of the Pokemon top 10 rarest Pokemon in Legends ZA video, which was kind of like the first one was supposed to be the idea of like the 10 rarest species in Pokemon Legends ZA, and then the sequel would be kind of like the 10 actual like genuine rarest, like instead of just touching on, you know, this one is hard to get, this is what you have to do, like getting really pedantic. And I don't know if you guys would be interested. Like getting really pedantic would mean for shiny Eevee, I no longer care about the fact that you can fast travel shiny hunt Eevee in area, is it 16? That's 19 maybe, area 19. Yeah, you can like fast travel shiny hunt Eevee in area 19, you know? I don't care about that anymore. Instead, I only care about the fact that there's a lower level Eevee that you can shiny hunt. I believe this is the way to go to it. Yeah, there's an Eevee over here. So this Eevee is a lower level. So if we're getting super... Eevee can also be benched at Cafe Triste at level 16. Cafe Triste. So I might need to look at that then. Because there's this Eevee, right? Yo, wait, does the Wavebird not... Am I screwed? Huh. The Wavebird is fine for shiny hunting, but I realize that the Wavebird is not very good for, like, trying to catch Pokemon or for battling. I can't even lock on because there's only one trigger on the top left. Crazy. Okay, how do I get out of this battle? Okay, so it can be benched where double world spawns. Okay, so you know what, like maybe there are reasons that that Eevee wouldn't be up there, but I was thinking like how we can get really pedantic with like specific levels on Pokemon. Things like getting the Pumpkaboo in the 1% or anything like that. That one gave us, we got some good spawns on that. We got Tepig, we got Charmander. Another Tepig, Charmander. Wow, those were some good spawns on that roll. Joining me in phase 7 into the Shelfa Ampharos Froakie hunt at full odds. I'm hoping that I don't see Shiny Alpha Lucario. Though, I mean, it would still be cool. I'm not going to say that getting a Shiny Alpha Lucario would be lame. I hope that I get Charmander instead, you know? So I didn't know this. It looks like night is quite a bit shorter than day. Anybody else know that? It's news to me. Got 3 shiny Alpha Garchomps from Zone 20. Not sure if that's good luck or bad luck. There's like 67 possible shinies that can be in that middle area. Getting the same one over and over, I guess whether or not it's lucky is a decision that you need to make for yourself. OPB, how's it going? Welcome on back. Oops. Okay, I guess we're running in here. Might as well. Might as well go check. Do we get a cool shiny alpha in the middle? No. Nope. What are the chances for an alpha spawn in Area 20? So there's the guaranteed alphas in the middle of Area 20. As far as I know, the Tepig and the Charmander are 5%. I don't think that any of the other spawns are boosted in any way, but I also haven't like poured over the numbers. So I am quite sure that we are looking at 5% for the alpha Charmander or Tepig. So we're probably looking at finding a lot of shiny Pokemon before we get them. And I'm kind of okay with that. But if I do find the shiny alpha, honestly, I might wait. Kind of hold out and see if I want to use like the sport ball on it, or I might clone the alpha. I don't know if you guys have seen like the way to like clone shinies or like realistically clone any Pokemon. But I think that if I do find the shiny alpha Charmander, I might do a few clones of it, catch it in a few different Pokeballs and stuff. I think that would be kind of nifty. And then also we could give them away, you know, just like catch a few extras, give them away on stream. Yo, Philip, if you're still here, do you want to hop into a Discord call and talk a little bit about your experience playing Pokemon Legends ZA? You would, but there's a person sleeping in your room. Sus. Sus. What is this? What is... No, Nectara, what happened to the 3DSs? Kyle Shank, hello. Planning on doing this once you get your shiny charm? Totally a worthwhile hunt. I'm really looking forward to trying to grind out like the shiny alpha Charmander. I don't know. I mean, you might see me go for like the full shiny female alpha Charmander. Who freaking knows? There's an alpha Charmander. Should I try? Okay. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Let's try 3. Might as well. Let me switch this over. So switch 3. That one. Okay. Is there a cartridge in there? Where is it? More? Oh, it does. Okay. Okay. Let's try. Let's see if 3. See if 3 makes sense. Why does this just has? I was in the middle of catching like a shiny Beldum. I didn't even catch it. That's some insanity. I wasn't gonna do 3 at the same time because I was thinking like maybe the Switch 1's gonna be a lot slower, but we might as well. Might as well see if like the Switch 1 is a huge amount slower on the flyaways. So we're doing 3 at a time right now by using what's called the Wavebird GameCube Wavebird controller. So this is a controller that was released for the Nintendo GameCube. So I'm using GameCube to USB adapters, like the official GameCube controller adapters for the Wii U and the Switch. Oh yeah. I think that the Switch 1, like we're just looking at this being way slower. And since the Switch 1 doesn't have, since my Switch 1 doesn't have the Shiny Charm, I just don't think it's going to be worth waiting for it. Yes, happy Halloween, Pink Freak. How you doing? I was so busy these past couple of weeks. I don't even feel like I had time to get into the Halloween spirit. I didn't even, oh my goodness, I didn't even put on like a costume or anything. That's kind of cringe. I guess what we could do is we could just let the Switch 1 kind of do whatever it wants. It should, in theory, you know, it'll still get a few encounters. So you might as well. Also doing Charmander in Zone 20. Let's go. What method are you trying to use for your Zone 20 shiny hunt at the moment? It's a decent number of Charmanders that time. How are we doing? Oh yeah, so I explained the 3. Gonna do RNG for Shiny Darkrai and then Shiny Hunt for Pumpkaboo. Okay, so you're doing, I assume, like a Gen 4 RNG for for Darkrai. That's sick. You hear that small Pokemon is the meta for PvP and Pokemon Legends ZA. I think that they do have smaller hitboxes, but also I was wanting to test whether or not like smaller Pokemon had smaller hitboxes on their attacks. Like if I have Alpha Talonflame, is the hitbox of Alpha Talonflame's Brave Bird bigger? Because I think that like the hitbox is also a really important thing for like just Brave Birding and Flare Blitzing. something that I was hoping to mess around with a little bit. On Platinum, got an RNG spot specifically for today, so it'll be a Halloween shiny. Ah, okay, so you like, yeah, you found the RNG spread or frame on October 30th. That's super cool. Super cool. October 31st, I suppose. I also would like shiny Charmander. Hot take. Hot take, but I kind of want shiny Charmander. Okay, let's let's sit these all on a bench, kind of sync up all the time for them, so that they all end up kind of reaching night and day at the same time. Whoa! Who just heard a shiny? There's a shiny left over on this switch. This one? Oh, yeah. We need to turn this off. Yeah, there's a shiny left over here. I don't know how I'm going to catch it. I can't lock onto it. We might just need to leave it there. I can't catch it on the Wavebird. It doesn't have the ability to lock in. Oh, they were both shiny. Huh. Oh well. No, those weren't live shinies. Those were definitely just like leftovers from well, everything's out of sync anyways. Okay. Those are just leftovers from doing shiny hunting for the Chespin, I think. Gotta lock on for the hit. Yeah, I can't lock on with the Wavebird. That's the problem, OPB. The problem is the Wavebird can't lock on because it doesn't have the actual like it doesn't have the button for it. Yeah. I mean, a little bit of a downside. The Wavebird is like not something that you could actually play the entire game with because of that. You can't even like lock on an attack. So Wavebirding to get, like I was thinking maybe you Wavebird through the 1,000 battles, but now I know. Wavebirding through the 1,000 battles would not have worked very well because I can't make any attacks with it. Did find your first random shiny in ZA a couple nights ago. It was Baneri, but you want to do a hunt. Still want to do a hunt for your project. Using one you already have is boring. Sure? Yeah, because you wanted to get every shiny mega. Definitely a cool idea to go and shiny hunt each of them. I think one of the craziest things about this game is that it might end up being entirely possible to do like a full shiny living dex in this game, and then like it not even be that hard. I'm sure that many people are working on it already, but I was thinking like if I wanted to do a bigger video about Legends ZA, like might not even be that absurd, really. I'm gonna hit the shinies and then leave them there. Well, no. So if I find a shiny that I'm looking for, OPB, we can just change controllers. Like that is one of the things that we can do, is just swap out controllers. I just didn't feel like doing it for random, like useless fletchlings. Why am I getting random text messages? Okay. 9 shiny Froakie in, no alpha Froakie or Phalanx yet. You'll get there. You'll get there. Just tagged me in a Twitter post where someone posted Mega Charizard X and Mega Charizard Y. I'll take a quick look. Not the kind of person that would waste a shiny. I mean, the thing is, like, everybody who shiny hunts in this game is going to end up with, like, 20 shiny fletchlings. It's not going to matter. Nobody will care if you have 20 shiny fletchlings or 21 shiny fletchlings. And for me, it will never matter. I will never feel bad. I don't see that I was tagged on Twitter, so... don't know. But Papa Beartic, best of luck on your Froakie hunt. I hope that that turns into something cool and exciting for you. It is only a 5%. I think what you always got to remember is that you're looking for a 5% shiny. So the odds of that Froakie being the shiny and the alpha are 1 in 20. Bald Gamer? Okay, let me take a look. Okay. Yeah, I already know what they look like, so... thank you. Shiny Alpha. Okay, yeah, just like the size of them. Shiny Alpha might finally solve the problem of Charizard looking way too small for how cool it actually is. Got the Shelfa Beldum. Let's go. I got 2. So I think what I might do is I might keep that as like a shiny Alpha Beldum, shiny Alpha Metang. I think what would be a crazy goal, but something that I could do with just having, you know, multiple switches, is chase after the shiny Alpha Dex. Oh, okay. No. So the Mega Charizard X and Y are just entirely different Mega variations of Charizard. So there's only a few Pokemon that were given multiple Mega Evolutions. It was Charizard, got X and Y Charizard, then there's also X and Y Mewtwo, and then we are going to be getting Raichu X and Y as well. But it's not a gender-related thing, they're just different, different Mega Pokemon entirely. In the main series, Mega Charizard Y gets Drought and is a Fire Flying type, and then Mega Charizard X drops its flying typing to gain the dragon typing. So personally, for competitive play, I've actually always been a fan of Mega Charizard Y. I just think that Drought is such a cool ability. But for pure aesthetics, Mega Charizard X is way cooler. But then the shiny for Mega Charizard Y is better. So there's kind of merits to both. What is nice is you don't need to choose one or the other. What is this? Why do I have a notification here? Engage with your audience. I'm doing well. Thank you for dropping in, Mr. Snow is a Goober. How are you doing? How do we get X and Y? So the Mega Charizard X, Mega Charizard Y, just depends on which Mega Stone you give your Charizard. Finish your Beldum evolution line, you're trying to have it so that one is an alpha. Yeah, it's I don't know, it's cool. It is cool that at the very least, you know, there are rare variants of the shinies. I'm still just not really in love with the fact that kind of everything is something you can AFK shiny hunt for. And I know that not everybody's going to AFK shiny hunt, but even though I made my little video of like the 10 rarest shinies in Legends EA based off of like my testings and researches. And the method that I showed for shiny hunting, what was it? The method that I showed for shiny hunting Goomy is one that I think is good. Like it definitely works. Okay, let me try to sync these all up again. Just want to have everything more or less day and night synced up. Okay, here we go. And yeah, Kiri and I will answer your question in just a few seconds here. There we go. Okay. Should have everything more or less day and night cycle synced up here. The method that we're trying right now is we are flying to Centrico Plaza, and then we are running within 50 meters of all of the spawn points. So there's like 6 or 7 spawn points kind of spread out along the desert area in Area 20. In order to trigger a shiny to spawn, we need to run within within 50 meters of those spawn points. So what you'll see us doing here is we're going to open the map, press Y, which immediately flies us to Centrico Plaza. And then I put a little marker on the map that is 50 meters away from kind of the farthest spawn point. Once we run that far, we're just jumping back. Every time you fly or do like the fast travel, you're going to generate new Pokemon. And in the event that something maybe spawns far away at that like 50-meter tree or something, the game will save that shiny. So we don't need to necessarily worry about seeing all of the shiny Pokemon. If they were to spawn, the game will store up to 10 of them for us. But what we do want to do is get within 50 meters of all the spawn points so that we are at least having a chance to generate each of the different shiny fire starters. But yeah, as I was saying, like I was really excited. I was really excited to make the video for shiny hunting in Pokemon Legends ZA. I am really happy with how the video came out. You know, I'm not ecstatic with its performance. I think I was hoping that maybe I would have the chance to do a little bit better. But, you know, with the time constraint that I had, which was I gave myself pretty much like a week and a half to get that video out. The game came out on Thursday and it was out by Sunday the next week. I think that it came out well. I think that it was well researched. It presented information that wasn't available anywhere else. All of the research was done by me and my friends, so it wasn't like I was... Unlike some of the other YouTubers, it wasn't just me copying things off the internet and everything like that. But even then, you know, I'm happy with how the video came out. I'm excited to do a few of the different shiny hunts in Legends ZA. For the most part, I'm not that thrilled about the direction that shiny hunting ended up taking in Legends ZA. Like, the fact that almost every Pokemon can be AFK'd is frustrating. I showed what I believe to be the fastest method for shiny hunting Gumi. So the fastest method being the fast flies that I demonstrated in the video. And then immediately my comments, I've probably had 10 plus people comment saying like, actually, you don't need to do the fast flies. You can just go up and down in the sewers, which like I knew. And I guess I could have included in the script. But I did explain how things like that worked in other parts of the video. What I wanted the video to be was an explanation of like all the different ways that shiny hunting can work in Legends ZA and a lot of the mechanics of shiny hunting. And I think that it did that. But I'm getting comments of people being like, actually, you don't need to have like human inputs to shiny hunt Froakie because you can just use the 8BitDo controller that has macro programmability in it. Actually, you know, you can just shiny hunt blah 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 macro. Actually, you can sit on the bench and do this here. And I'm like, I explained a lot of ways to do a lot of things. Obviously, I can't explain every single possible way that you could shiny hunt every single possible Pokemon. But just being actually on like, yeah, actually you can use a third-party controller to do a shiny hunt this way, because I guess what I've learned in the time since is that Philly Beats or whatever was showing off the macro programmability of the 8BitDo controller, and everybody's doing that. And I'm like, it's a third-party controller. If you wanted to talk about that, then we could talk about, oh, you know, the rarest shiny and blah 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 game is nothing, because you can just program a macro to do it. And like if I wanted, I could just program a script that looks for shinies in my Gen 3 games. Like, I don't know. I think that I made a good video. I think that I got a lot of great facts out there, but I think that just in general, the way that shiny hunting works in Legends ZA is something that I really hope we don't see again. I think that there were so many great steps. The visual indicators, the fact that there's like a shiny sparkle next to the name when you lock on the Pokemon, the little sparkle aura, the Pokemon sound effect, or the shiny sparkle sound effect, all of that, all of those are such good steps in the right direction for making overworld shiny hunting fun and interesting. I love the shiny sparkle sound effect. I really don't like the fact that you can just like quote unquote save shinies. And I don't know what the solution would be, because obviously this wasn't implemented in order to... Like, it wasn't implemented in order to give people this way to, like, AFK shinies. The being able to, like, AFK shiny hunt for Pokemon is a side effect of the implementation, and the implementation's goal was obviously, if you find a shiny, but it's out of reach for some reason, like you can't jump across that that barrier yet, or you can't access that roof or that area, or there's a fence in the way or something, like you can go around and find it. I think that there is a lot of merit to that, but I think that there needs to be some sort of middle ground limitation, like there's a 10-minute timer. Something like that would be great. 10-minute timer. If a shiny spawns, it'll be saved, and you have 10 minutes to get access to it or something. Perfect. Yeah, it does feel like I'm glad that you know what, as far as I know, I discovered the bench strat. I'm glad that I did that because it was really fun. It was really fun the first time I came back and there was, 9 shinies in Area 12. All of those ice shinies, Shiny Alpha, Abomasnow, like, I'm really glad that I discovered that. Because that was exciting to come back after the night and just be like, oh my goodness, look at all of these shinies, like it worked, right? But I think that everybody else who tried it, like, instead of it being exciting when you return after shiny hunting, it's like an expectation. It's like the expectation now is that you make your controller walk in one direction, you leave for 3 hours, and you come back and there's a shiny. It's never been the expectation to get a shiny. You agree, but let's be real, you're shiny hunting with 3 screens. Like, yes, I like shiny hunting with multiple systems. I think that the difference there is, and like, don't get me wrong, I don't think that there's anything wrong with enjoying the way that shiny hunting works or the way that anybody else hunts. You can hunt however you want. I just like shiny hunting as a puzzle. My brother has put it succinctly in that way before. He's like, Jake, I think that you just like solving puzzles. You like optimizing things. So because of that, I think that it's fun to do something like this, because I'm like, how do we solve the puzzle of shiny hunting being a time-consuming endeavor, right? But I also don't shy away from the fact that multi-hunting, in my opinion, is a method. So it's like a method hunt. If you use Masuda method for breeding your eggs, or you use Shiny Charm, that's a method of getting shinies faster. And I 100% believe that a method of getting shinies faster is also multi-hunting, right? I'm not gonna hide or shy away from that. That makes sense. But all I can do is I can say from my perspective, the first time I did the bench strat, potentially the first bench strat in the world, it was really exciting. The second time, it was no longer that exciting, because there was like an expectation of a shiny. I think that one of the things that's like really exciting about shiny hunting isn't necessarily being, for some people maybe it is, you know, just having the shiny. That's fine. But for me, I think I've always just thought like it's that moment. It's that moment of like no shiny 1 minute, and then oh my goodness, there it is. We got like a shiny Charmander. Oh, shoot. I moved my marker. There we go. Yeah, like I just, all I'm saying is I hope we don't see this again. I'm really happy with all the research I did. I'm really happy with the way that my video came out. You know, like having that video done, like the full editing process. So I recorded it on Friday. Got work started. So yeah, so I recorded it on Friday, started lining up the audio, and then went to bed. And then on Saturday, I woke up at like 10:30 in the morning, and then I worked until 11 a.m. the next day. Literally 24 hours straight, barring like a lunch break. I worked on that video, 24 hours. And getting that 35-minute video out in one day, I think was like a really great proof to myself that like I can do that. Has anybody found a good way to shiny hunt Drampa? There is a method in my most recent video that I show for shiny hunting Drampa. I think there's like 3 main ways people are doing it. Some people are arguing that soft resets are the best way, so you kind of like knock out Drampa and then save like 1 second before it respawns, and then you just open the, or like close the game, open it again. If it spawns in as not a shiny, you just close the game and open it again. The method that I showed was Runaways, where you just save at the very beginning of the morning, and then you do Runaways back and forth to respawn Drampa. And then I think another way that people have done it is you like save right as the morning starts, and you do flyaways. You fly to area 19, run a little bit up until you can see it spawn in the middle, and then you just fly back. But I think that I would recommend Runaways. I think that they work out to being about the same speed as doing the resets, and they're a little bit more engaging. Then again, I mean, some people seem to be very, very thoroughly on board with like only wanting to do one-handed shiny hunts for this game, so. You see the benefit, Orc, of not going outside is I don't need to worry about Mariah Carey music being played everywhere. I'll never hear it. Mwahahaha. Yeah, Necro, I'm really sorry to hear about what happened to your DS capture cards with the water damage or the pop damage or whatever liquid it was you spilled. I am so sorry to hear about that. But yeah, November, December, obviously all Christmas time, the whole time. All you want for Christmas is a Switch to Pokemon ZA bundle, but Mariah Carey can surprise you for your birthday. It's also November 2nd. Whoa! November 2nd? That's coming up very soon. Do you have any big birthday plans, VRT? Got your copy of ZA on Monday. Have the next 2 days off. Already sank over 22 hours over the last 2 days. Game's really clicked with you. No word of a lie. Game came out, and I think I hit 100 hours of playtime, like 104 hours after the game's release. Part of that was AFK shiny hunting. But there was it was night and day for 4 days straight playing Legends ZA. The game came out Thursday morning. You know, we got it at midnight. We went to the midnight release Thursday morning. I had the shiny charm on Sunday. My brother and I were hard grinding. But yeah, I finished my video on Sunday, and after posting, I just gave myself I slept on Sunday, and then Monday my friends and I went for a nice really long walk. Tuesday my friend and I went down to Toronto, and we did a crazy bike ride. We rode our bike probably 40 kilometers. We were out from pretty much we were out from 2 until 8, 2 until 9, with a 1 hour break from shiny hunting, or from riding our bike, where we were walking around doing the Sinistea community, Sinistea Spotlight Hour in Pokemon Go. But yeah, we were riding our bikes that whole day, and it was very nice. I actually realized while I was doing that, I've always wondered, why is it that I still, after traveling all over the world, why is it that I'm still in love with Toronto? After seeing Stockholm and Tokyo and San Diego and LA and Tampa, all Osaka, Hiroshima, why is it that Toronto still stands out in my mind as being my favorite? Is it just because I'm biased? Potentially I'm biased. Also, yes, San Diego and LA are lame. I agree. Am I biased because it's my home city, right? But I didn't grow up in Toronto. I grew up outside of Toronto. My first real experience with getting to know Toronto was when Pokemon Go came out. Riding my bike around in the summer of 2017, riding my bike around, catching Pokemon, and what I was doing was pretty much riding my bike until I got hungry, and then I would stop and I would eat some food. And in doing so, I found a bunch of restaurants that I really liked, restaurants that I wouldn't have tried otherwise. I just came across whatever was close when I got hungry. And I think that was such a great way to experience the city, such a great way to learn about the cuisine that was available to me there. But people have asked me, Rex, like, you know, what should I do in Toronto? And I always think, I'm like, oh, like, I love Toronto. What should I have people do? And my friend Gridlin was visiting a few months ago, and we did a couple of things. You know, we went to the aquarium, we got some beaver tails, walked around, saw the CN Tower, and then I was like, I don't know what else I should show you. And then I was riding my bike around with my friend who was visiting from DC, and that's when it clicked. It clicked that I fell in love with Toronto because of like how much there is to do if you have a bike. It's owning a bike and being in Toronto that I fell in love with. You can ride your bike anywhere. You know, we went from one side of this, literally one side of Toronto to the other and back in the span of a day. We rode through the Don Valley forest, saw the river, rode our bikes through the city, got different food. You know, like I tried Himalayan food last week, something that I had never tried before. And we went to High Park, and there was, you know, the beautiful walking trails and everything. Like I just realized that that's what I've been missing when I'm trying to show the city to people, is I had forgotten why I loved it so much. And I'm really excited now, where the next time somebody asks me to show them the city, I will actually have something to show them. Like I'll actually know what I need to do to show it to them. Am I pumped for the Blue Jays? I'll be honest, like I'm not huge on sports. On Wednesday night, today's Friday. Yeah. On Wednesday night, my friends and I went to a bar and we watched the Jays game. And there was some things that I was interested in. I mean, I think that it's interesting to see Ohtani kind of hyped up as like just the absolute G that he is, because the United States brought baseball to Japan. The Pokemon Company, when they first opened the Pokemon Center New York, wanted to make their uniforms in the Pokemon Center New York baseball jerseys to kind of celebrate this connected love that Japan and the States have for the game of baseball. So I think that it's really cool to see Ohtani playing as just like one of the peak performers. Then again, he's on the Dodgers, so cheering for him in Toronto is not something that most people are doing. But I was excited, or it was cool to just see the overall vibe in the city as we come up to this like potentially final match for the World Series. I'm looking forward to seeing how it all turns out. But as far as caring about the actual Blue Jays team winning, I don't really care if I don't really care if the players succeed or don't succeed. I don't care if the team succeeds or doesn't succeed. However, it's definitely good for just Toronto as a city to have the Jays doing so well, because all of the bars are full. Like every restaurant is full right now. I think that is good for like the economy, right? But I think that just the overall concept of organized sports like that they've never really been something that I've been super interested in. Mainly because baseball is apparently even more egregious than hockey. Hockey has a salary cap. You can only pay your players so much, which in a way brings a lot of teams to a more even playing field. If you want the best players, then you can get the best players, but you will need to cut corners on having the rest of the team. Like, you can have the best forward in the game, but if you're paying them too much, you might not have the actual funds to buy a team that can support them the way that they need, right? Apparently, and if you're over the salary cap as a hockey team, you just can't play. This is what was told to me. I might be wrong. This is what was explained to me. If you're over the salary cap as a hockey team, you just simply cannot play. If you're over the salary cap as a baseball team, then you just pay a fine. So like, you pay a fine to the MLB or whatever, which is then absurd, because Ohtani has like, I think it's like a $70 million a year 10-year contract with the Dodgers. From what I was being told, it's like the biggest sports contract of all time. And the team can then just spend, even though they now have theoretically like spent a huge portion of what their budget should be on getting their pitcher and batter, because Ohtani does both, they can still just drop a frick ton more money on getting the rest of the team put together, and they just pay the fine. And yo, Sir Dro, thank you for dropping in. Great to have you here. Yeah, no, I'm not saying that just because a team spends the most money that they're going to have the most success. Obviously, that's not the case. But I do just think that it's absurd. I think that that is the reason I'm far more interested in watching the Olympics. I will watch the Olympics because I think that then it's like, it's not just who has the most money necessarily. I guess there are factors that could play into that, but like then it comes down to like which country has the infrastructure needed to support people in the way that can have them perform at their best, and which countries have the best infrastructure for which sports and everything. Like, I think that that's really cool. World Cup is cool. I don't really, soccer is too long for me. I feel like if they made the pitches smaller in soccer, I would be more inclined to watch soccer on a smaller pitch, honestly. But that's besides the point. I don't know. I just like, I'm not super that this is like a long-winded way of saying, I guess, I am not the most I'm not the biggest fan of organized sports teams and like sports leagues. How do I feel about the new competitive battling platform? Are we talking about ZA's battling platform, or are we talking about Pokemon Champions? Because I think that the battle format in ZA is fun, but kind of sucks. In all honesty, like it's not a particularly good game. I would much rather play Unite than play ZA's Battle Royale. And then additionally, I mean, ZA's Battle Royale doesn't even actually have rankings past hitting rank A. Like, it took me maybe 2 hours to hit rank A. And then there's no global rankings past that. I think that maybe people would be more interested if there was global rankings and a more aggressive rankings formula, because you can lose. Like, you can come 4th place in the Pokemon Legends ZA battle arena and still earn points. That being said, if you're talking about champions, I think that increased accessibility for the VGC circuit is going to be huge for VGC. I think that if Pokemon TCG Live wasn't so freaking bad, it would have been an amazing boost for the Pokemon TCG scene. It just sucks. Nobody wants to play it. TCG Pocket has apparently made money hand over foot, but is not accessible. Like, I don't play Pokemon Pocket anymore because I liked kind of the 20 card format battles. I liked playing Pocket. In all honesty, when I had a job and I was working, I put a lot of money into it, more than I definitely should have. Like, I should not have put any money into it. But I put money into it thinking like, okay, I'll like, put money in now, then I'll have a lot of great resources for building decks, and I can play in these, like, I can play the battle formats, and I can potentially, now they're doing side events. If they do side events for regionals and stuff, I can do side events for that. But they made it extremely inaccessible to actually compete in Pokemon TCG Pocket by making everything random paywall garbage. If Champions ends up being random paywall garbage, it is probably going to be the worst thing that could have happened to VGC. If it is not random paywall garbage, if the Pokemon Company looks at Pokemon Champions and identifies the fact that their media franchise as a whole will make more money with more people playing, their tournaments will be bigger, they can potentially increase, I don't want them to, but potentially increase the cost of entry, right? If Champions makes VGC more accessible, it will be good for the brand. And I hope that what they identify is that they don't need to turn it into a cash cow for it to be a success. If Champions is built to be a cash cow, then we're screwed. That's my thought process. If Champions doesn't need to make money, then we're okay. I think it has the potential to blow Pokemon VGC up, even bigger than it already has. Wolfie has made VGC huge compared to what it used to be. Huge. Wolfie has done wonders for the VGC community and space as a whole. Champions could take that to another level. It really depends on how they implement it. I cannot believe that, like, we still don't even have one shiny. Like, not even a Hippowdon or a Lucario. Yo, Blake, thank you for the shiny luck. What is up, dude? 2 bits. We got 2 bits. Why can't I hear that? Let me see. Why can't I hear this? I should have been able to hear that. Uncertain. Thank you for the bits, Blake. How are you doing today? Why don't you add another Switch 1 and run through the zone? I don't have another Switch 1 that's like up to area 20. That's the main thing. right now the saves that I'm using are the save. So like the one on the left, top left, is my brother's save file for Legends ZA. Top right is my save file. Bottom left is then one of my friends who used my Switch to play through Legends ZA. Like, I don't have a third save file that is far enough into the game to try shiny hunting Charmander. Otherwise, I mean, I have 1, 2. Oh my god. Okay, so not counting the ones I'm using right now. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more switches, at least, in this room right now. Did I have to buy 3 switches to multi-hunt like this? Oh shoot, maybe I should...
_EV_of_Rome is now a 49-month X-Force member.
49 months, holy crap.
Home of the Alpha Zone to the power of TM.
Home to the Alpha Zone TM. Evie, thank you for the continued support of the Professor's Lab. I appreciate it, dude. How have you been doing? How have you been enjoying Legends ZA? But okay, so maybe I should make a little video about this, like how I'm multi-hunting on Legends ZA, because I guess with the fact that you can AFK, this would be something a lot of people would be interested in. A lot of people have a Switch 2 now. If you buy the digital copy of Pokemon Legends ZA, and then separately you buy the Legends ZA upgrade pack, you can run the original Legends ZA game on your Switch 1, and then depending on which Switch is your primary Switch, you turn the primary Nintendo Switch offline, so you disconnect it from the internet. Your primary Nintendo Switch can use any of the games that you have licenses for, and then your secondary Switch can use whatever games you have licenses for, as long as it connects to the internet and checks that you have the license for it. So your primary Switch can be offline, use your license, that can either be a Switch 1 or a Switch 2, and then your other Switch can just, so you use like one license. No, your primary Switch doesn't need to connect to the internet to use your license, so you can keep it offline, and your secondary Switch just needs to connect to the internet in order to use the license. So if you bought a Switch 2 and you wanted to, and you still have your Switch 1 because you didn't like trade it in or whatever, you would be able to AFK hunt on 2 systems at once with 1 copy of the game. You just need to have the digital copy, and you need to make sure that it is the digital Pokemon Legends ZA, and then separately the Legends ZA upgrade pack, the Switch 2 upgrade pack. Maybe I should try crushing that out tomorrow. Maybe that should be something that I put together, because I guess it would be helpful for people to know. It used to be the sort of thing where, like, if you were multi-hunting on the Switch, if someone buys Switch 2 Pokemon Legends ZA, they can't play it on the Switch 1. The cartridges work on both. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how the digital license for the or for like the Switch 2 bundle works. Like if you got the Switch 2 bundle, I'm not sure what license it gives you. That's the thing. I'm not sure how the licensing works. It is the same price to buy the game for the Switch 1 and then buy the license, that is how I would recommend it. I don't know how the licensing works if you have like the Switch 2 bundle license. I don't know if it's giving you the license for the Switch 1 and then the upgrade pack. Got both versions of ZA without knowing you can use the Switch 2 cart in your Switch 1. Means you can do trade evos by yourself once you find your Switch Lite to put a second save file on. Yeah, the one downside to doing the like shared license is you can't trade between them. Like you can't, since they're running the same license, like they will disconnect or give you an error if you try to connect them at the same time. I don't really play chess. My brother plays chess. I'm okay at it. Like I don't think that if I tried to get into it now, I would be able to catch up. I think that throughout COVID, chess just ended up becoming like far more popular. So I think that being an average chess player now is probably a lot harder than it was 5 years ago. You're up to over 80 in your shiny ZA decks. You feel that some species have much lower odds, or there's something more to it. Some species, like the Charmander and the Tepig, aren't guaranteed to spawn, so that's one thing. You know, Pokemon species that have shared spawn locations probably would put themselves into the list of lower odds or harder to get species, you know, like the Gible that I showed in the video. But it will definitely be interesting to see people like finishing their shiny decks. How did Tops get the name Professor Tops? My name is Professor Rex. Though originally my in-game like internet name was Minosaurus Rex. And what we were using was dinosaur names, right? So I was Minosaurus Rex, and he was Minoceratops. So his name was supposed to be based around a Triceratops. When we transferred over to the Professor leading name, that was lost a little bit, and we didn't catch just how much it was lost. So that's where the name comes from. My shiny dex is going pretty well. It would be nice if you could like sort by just the ones you have shiny, I suppose, but it's going pretty okay so far. Any thoughts on Hogwarts Legacy? I haven't played it, and I won't. I don't like Harry Potter. I've never particularly liked Harry Potter. I think that the world has never, like, I think just at a base level, the world of Harry Potter is lame. I think that a fantasy world that focuses on magic but doesn't flesh out the world in any meaningful way, and it's just like, oh yeah, well no, there's like a regular world and a magic world. Uninspired. I think that like Wizards of Waverly Place has the wizard world and the human world, right? And I think if it wasn't for the fact that the rest of the show was funny, it would be a pretty junk show if they tried to take it seriously. Harry Potter feels to me like my least favorite parts of fantasy, like high fantasy. It's just my an amalgamation of my least favorite parts, hand wavy magic. I never read it when I was a kid, and I didn't even try reading it until I was in university. It was like my girlfriend's favorite book, so she really wanted to read it with me, and I could not even make it through like the first 2 chapters. It is written to a first grade level, and I couldn't even take the writing seriously. I think that the movies originally seemed to have been well done, but again, full of hand-wavy magic. Lots of plot holes, things that aren't really elaborated on. And then when you take a look at just the fact that the writer is a transphobic piece of junk, I'm like, great. I have absolutely no reason to engage with the franchise, and that is amazing. I'm really glad. Maybe you'd like Eliezer Yudowski's rendition of it. Probably not. I don't need magic explained with quantum physics and mechanics and science, because that much thought wasn't put into it originally. Avada Kedavra. Yeah, like there's just spells where it's like, why does any other spell exist if this is a spell that exists, right? If you want to like I think that maybe it is weird for me to be so harsh on the magic in Harry Potter when I am somebody that just watched Freerun and really, really liked it. But I honestly feel like part of the reason that I prefer Freerun's magic over Harry Potter's magic is that Freerun actually takes time to try and explain like why there's variability in the strength of wizards and mages. And it doesn't just do away with the rest of high fantasy. You know, like, yes, there's mages, but there's also tanks, fighters, priests. Like they still have the rest of the class structure that makes high fantasy. So if you were to say, like, Rex, would you prefer Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings? The answer will always be Lord of the Rings, because it has the rest of the encompassing high fantasy. But if I was going to pick like my favorite fantasy-esque book, I really liked the Redwall. Like the world of Redwall, I think, is something that is very. There are like, I don't know. Hey Siri, how many Redwall books are there? I'm gonna guess there's like 100. Hey Siri, how many books are there in the Redwall series?
The series includes 22 novels, 3 of which were adapted into an animated television series.
Just 22.
This answer is from fanlore.org.
22 novels. I feel like that can't be right. I thought that there was a bunch I hadn't read, but I guess I've read most of them. I really like Redwall. If your Siri went off, our voices must sound similar then. That's kind of funny. Lord of the Ring books are terribly written. I like them, but the way Tolkien did chapters is annoying. Honestly, I haven't read Lord of the Rings. I've seen the films. I wouldn't read the books. So like high fantasy that I've read would be Song of Fire and Ice. But all of my love for Song of Fire and Ice was killed by the television series Game of Thrones. So yeah, like I read Song of Fire and Ice before the TV adaptation came out. And then everybody was talking about the TV adaptation, so I was excited to watch it. I went to go watch like the first episode with my dad, and Daenerys strips naked, and I was like, okay, so maybe I won't watch this one with my dad then. Maybe I'll watch this myself. And then we kind of watched it separately. But then I just immediately saw Game of Thrones, the show, departing from the Song of Fire and Ice novels, and I lost all interest. I didn't watch, like, I watched season one, saw how much it was departing, said, I've seen this before. Like, literally, I've seen what happens when you depart this starkly from source material. So I will see how it goes. I'm not going to invest in it. And I'm glad I did, because the only episode after season 1 that I watched was like the finale with my friends, and everybody was mad and upset. And I was like, thank God I didn't invest in caring about the Game of Thrones show. But I think that, like, between Redwall and Forgotten Realms, those would be my favorite high fantasy, because they have fleshed out worlds. I think that there's a great balance of the more magical elements of the world, and just like the stone cold hard melee combat and things. And then I'm biased because I'm a Dungeons and Dragons player. I love the Forgotten Realms series. Yo, Vincent, thank you for the good luck. Favorite TV show? I think I'm probably going to have to say Psych. It is the favorite television show of my... Oh, wait, no. Okay, second favorite is Psych. First favorite is It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I think that the team in charge of writing It's Always Sunny and the team that is in charge of producing it and acting in it and writing it and everything, like, just so freaking good. There's like episodes where I'm like, I don't know if there's some episodes where it's like, not amazing, right? Not a masterpiece, but a lot of the episodes are just truly just masterpieces. Do I play the Elder Scrolls games? Oblivion is your favorite, but you love Skyrim. I honestly need to go and finish Skyrim. I know that it's crazy to say in 2025 that you haven't finished Skyrim. But my problem with Skyrim is I always end up getting distracted, getting I get distracted. I end up being over encumbered, and I get distracted. I get distracted in the world. I get distracted out of the game trying to like modify it and everything. I don't know. Hopefully someday I can sit down, I can play Skyrim. Eventually. Arcano, sorry, I'm just seeing your message now. 20 phases for 20 shiny Beldum and no alpha shiny. I'm sorry to hear that. Best of luck on it showing up. That sucks, especially because one of the two spawns is actually a 10% alpha chance. So it's like 5% on one and 10% on the other. Have I played Starfield? I probably could have looked into playing Starfield, but I did kind of feel like I got burned by No Man's Sky. I was so crazy excited for No Man's Sky. I played No Man's Sky on release. I dumped... Let me see. I have Steam installed on this computer. How many hours do I have in No Man's Sky? No Man's Sky... I have 40 hours. I thought I would have had more. I have 40 hours of playtime in No Man's Sky. I liked it, even without it actually pulling together all of the promises. I enjoyed even the initial release. I think that I would, before playing Starfield, I would go back and I would play No Man's Sky. But my big kind of thing I'm holding out for is a full release of Star Citizen. My friends and I have been backers of Star Citizen since high school. I think all of our backings are coming up on like 10 years. I would really like to eventually play Star Citizen. I think what would be really cool is if I have like some sort of YouTube following at the time that Star Citizen comes out. Maybe having a way, like I know that the conversion rate would be so small, but converting some people from being like Pokemon fans to just like me playing Star Citizen. Third row says they got a PS5 because the wife is a big fan of Harry Potter and it warranted a whole new console. Yeah, I don't think that you would ever catch me dating a Potterhead again. I think I just can't take the franchise seriously. You know, we went to whatever it was, Gate 42.5 or something. We went to like, when we were in London, we went to the area where Harry Potter's important. And there was so much Harry Potter merch and everything, and I was just like, I just don't care. And I think that part of life is deciding that it's okay, that there are some things that don't matter. How would you meet your Pokemon significant other, or sorry, how would you meet your significant other Pokemon conference? I met my current significant other through Facebook dating, which is kind of an odd statement that I'm sure very few people have ever said. But I think that just with like, with how do I say this? I think with just how immature a lot of the Pokemon scene is, I will probably keep everything separate. My dating life and Pokemon separate. I think that would be the best for everybody. Just the best for everybody. It's like, it's just, I don't want to date somebody in the Pokemon scene and then end up like breaking up and having every little ounce of my dirty laundry aired to the internet. You know, like, oh, I dated Professor Rex and he was a terrible boyfriend. He like left the cabinet doors open all the time. And he never cleaned up. Like, there's some things that it's just like these people online break up and they air every little bit of dirty laundry about their relationship. And I'm just like, I'm good. I'm good. How do you unlock areas 7 and 8? As you progress through like the AZ Battle Royale, more areas will unlock. So just keep progressing through the story and you'll find more wild zones. Zorua Link, hello, welcome on into the Professor's Lab. My name is Professor X, great to have you here. Seen the last video, it was very interesting. Well, thank you for giving it a chance. I'm glad that you, it sounds like, at least, I'm glad you enjoyed it. What were we talking about? Oh, Harry Potter. Yeah, look, if you like it, more power to you, just not for me. And I think that, like I was saying, one of the great parts of being a human in the 21st century is that there are literally thousands of things that you can spend your time, tens of thousands of things you can spend your time doing. You don't have to like everything. And it's okay. I have no idea what rank Area 7 and 8 unlock. If you have ranks like 6 and 7 or 5 and 6 right now. It's probably whatever the next rank up is. Saw the video with the Clanker solution for 1,000 battles. Yeah, that's just a 3D printer. We have a 3D printer. My brother has a 3D printer, I guess. We used it to print a bunch of the stuff for the Pokemon Rescue Project. One of the things that I need to start working on is the Pokemon Rescue Project video. And our hope was actually make that video, talk about some of the 3D prints that we did, and then ask Bamboo Labs for a new printer. That would be pretty cool. Okay. Costume. Welcome on in. How you doing? But yeah, so Blake, the Clanker solution was a 3D printer, and then my brother put together a custom G-code that just moved the print nozzle up and down. And we just, like, we turned the heat off, so it wasn't, there was no temperature on the print nozzle, but it just moved up and down. Push the button. Oh, right, you asked about my, like, goals with YouTube and whatever. Well, Costume, thank you for dropping by. Glad you were able to come see a stream. I haven't been live much. Well, I guess, yeah, I was live a lot during ZA's original release, but I haven't been live at all this week. Let me catch up on some questions. So what job did I have in the past? Historically, like, I've worked as a lifeguard, a swim coach. I've worked as the manager for a cell phone / internet store. So if you're Canadian, I worked as the manager for a Bell store. And then I worked as an e-commerce manager and social media coordinator for a Nissan dealership. And then I worked as a full-time sales rep for a Ford dealership. And then I spent some time just traveling and making YouTube videos. I think, in all honesty, the way that things sit right now, like if you know, since you asked, you know, kind of what my goals are with YouTube and Twitch and whatever, I'll be super candid with everybody. I think that transparency is important. I will no longer have any of my employment insurance in like about 2 months. So I have about 2 months left of my unemployment insurance. I had the opportunity to go on pretty well, like an all expenses paid trip to Italy last week. So that was the week that Pokemon Legends ZA came out. I chose not to go because I thought that it was definitely going to be much more important that I focused on making my Pokemon Legends ZA video. I had the plan in mind that I was going to make that top 10 rarest shinies in Pokemon Legends ZA video, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to use this as an opportunity to prove to myself that, like, maybe making content is the sort of thing that we can stick to doing. You know, maybe we can power through. We can make it happen, right? I have like 2 months before there's no more safety net, and I need to figure out what I'm going to do. I need to shit or get off the pot, right? So I worked hard on that video. As I said before earlier in the stream, it took me about a week and a half to make, 24 hours straight of just editing before I got it out. I'm very happy with what I was able to do in that time, but the video did not perform anywhere near as well as my Pokemon Scarlet Violet video. I actually think that on all metrics, it's a better video. You know, the editing is better. The research was actually more in depth, in my opinion. The audio works out better. I think just on every possible metric, the Legends ZA video is better than the Scarlet Violet video that I made. The difference is the Legends ZA video made about 400 or got about 40,000 views. As it sits right now, I only bought a Switch 2 so that I wouldn't feel like I was putting myself further behind than I needed to on making that video. So right out the gate, we are about $800 in the hole on making that video, in the fact that I bought a Switch 2 and bought the game. We are about halfway to paying that back at this point, if we just look through like the lens of making profit on that video. And as it sits right now, like living my life the way that I am, there's not a whole lot of overhead. I don't need to be making that much money. I'm making more money on YouTube right now than I ever have in the past. And I think that if I really focus and continue producing videos the way that I have been, I can grow that a little bit more. But if I wanted to turn it into a full-time career, it would be the sort of thing where I probably need to double everything. Everything needs to be about 2 times what it is right now, which, like, in the grand scheme of things, is actually extremely close when you consider like the snowballing of everything. Being halfway to sustainable is pretty freaking awesome, actually. But halfway is still a far way. So making this Legends ZA video is actually part of my litmus test for seeing if this is the sort of thing that I wanted to pursue further. And the amount of time that I worked on it versus the amount of success that the video is seeing is not paying off just yet. Yo, Blake, thank you for the 5 bits. I appreciate it. So I think that, like, if we had more YouTube channel members, if we had more Twitch subscribers, that would probably go a very far way. And that's not to say that the support that I have right now is not enough. Like, I am so thankful for everybody who has subscribed on Twitch, everybody who's become a member on YouTube. And I need to work personally on making sure that there are benefits to doing so for everybody else. Right now, the benefit I could say is if you had the funds to become a YouTube channel member or become a Twitch subscriber right now, it would be the sort of thing that would make it much more likely that I don't hang up the hat of trying to make this into something that I can do for the next couple of years. You know, like I don't see making Pokemon YouTube videos as a full-time career forever, but I would love to finish my backlog of everything that I have that I want to make. But I don't think that I will be able to do that unless the final part of my litmus test does well. So the first part of my litmus test for if I had what it takes to continue doing this was the Pokemon Legends ZA video. And I think that one of the things that showed me I don't have what it takes necessarily is that I didn't capitalize on what I was learning well or quickly enough. I was very caught up in my own mind of how I wanted the video to be made, and I didn't deviate from my plan. And I should have pivoted. I discovered the bench strat. I should have pivoted to making a video about the bench strat before I shared it with everybody else. And like, principally, I just don't want to do things like that. because I love sharing things with the Pokemon community, right? That's part of why we do this. So on principle, I don't want to have to do things like that. But the truth is, I discovered the bench strat, and then other YouTubers immediately jumped on making videos based off of that discovery, and those videos now have probably made them tens of thousands of dollars. Collectively, not any one individual, but like collectively, there's probably tens of thousands of dollars that have been made off of the bench strat. And like I said in my video, if I hadn't discovered it, someone else would have. But since I was the first, I should have been ready to pivot into producing that video. The second part of the litmus test for deciding whether or not this is something that I want to continue doing is going to be making the Pokemon Rescue Project video. It is going to be the biggest video okay. That comment, I'm just gonna actually, I think I'm just going to, how do we do this? I've never done this on YouTube. Hide user on channel? Does that work? Yeah, perfect. Okay. Somebody just commented, stop crying, you should have made a video instead of posting it on Twitter. And what I was just saying was I love sharing things with the Pokemon community. I'm not crying. I am literally identifying that I should have pivoted. What my plan was for the video I wanted to make for Legends ZA. I should have pivoted. I should have made it. I'm not crying. I'm just saying. The content that I like making is different than the content that's succeeding right now. So the content that when I made my top 10 rarest Pokemon or rarest shiny Pokemon in Scarlet Violet video, I think that the Pokemon content scene was very different than the way that it is now. At that time, there weren't any, Austin John Plays or Philly Beats You that had the scale of production that they do now. They were still making videos, but the teams that they have available to them and like the amount of resources they have definitely changed in that time. And the type of content that I like to produce is different than that. I don't want to make videos that are only viable for one day. I don't want to just upload a video that is me, no script, talking to the camera while I walk around an area explaining things. I want to make a video that when you watch it, it is worth your time, I think that the work that Austin John Plays and Philly Beats have put in over the last couple of weeks has been impressive. They've put a huge amount of work in. But I also think that like a 25-minute video with multiple ads talking about how to shiny hunt in one specific area isn't needed. Like it's not, you don't need the 25-minute video for every single area. The idea for my video was like, you watch my video of top 10 rare shinies and like you should know almost everything that you need to know about how shinies work in the game, and you can figure the rest out from there, right? Yo, Super J, what's going on? So, like I was saying, this was one of the tests that I had set forward for myself to see if I had what it takes to try and push towards becoming a full-time content creator. I think that I didn't reach a point of all-out failure. I'm happy with the video that I put out. I think that had I put it out sooner, maybe we would have seen more success. But the way that I produce content and the way that I enjoy producing content is different than some of the people that are seeing success. You'll notice that I did my first playthrough of the game with my friends, you know? 5 of us playing the game together, sitting on a couch, and learning everything from the ground up. I ended up losing, quote unquote, a day that could have been put into production of getting that video out earlier because I had a friend visit that took up time that could have been spent producing the video. So there are reasons that I can identify that I didn't succeed in the way that I had hoped I would, right? And like it was said here, there are lessons to learn from that. The second part of the litmus test that I wanted to work on for myself, and I'm only, like, I just want to be clear, I'm only going into diving into this because somebody did ask about what my, like, goals are with YouTube. The second part of the litmus test that I've set forward for myself is going to be making the Pokemon Rescue Project video. It's going to be the biggest video project that I've ever taken upon myself. I know that it would not only be a disservice to myself and my brother to not make that video before hanging up, you know, like the dream of making this full time. I think it would be a disservice to the community to not have that video made. So I'm going to work very hard on making that video. But like I said, it's going to be the biggest project I've probably ever taken upon myself in my entire life. And I do hope that it does well. And I think that the nicest thing about it will be when I finish that video, I will know that if that video succeeds, the type of content that I want to make has room to succeed and grow on YouTube. And if that video doesn't do well enough to, like, even cover the costs of, like, if we think about it, like, I spent $150 buying an extra Switch for that project just so that I would have, like, a Switch that I could shell swap and everything. We spent a few $100s on, like, the custom shells, custom lenses for all the consoles, $200 on the screens and power adapters and everything, $80 combined on those, like, shells or the cases, $50 or so on printing everything. So if that video can't even, like, break even, then, like, I'll know that the content that I want to produce is not sustainable as a career. It's something that could only ever be looked at as a hobby, and that's okay. But, like, to be entirely clear, I'm very, very glad that I've had the support that I've had over the years. You know, it's been broken up. I've had, like, since I started my content creation career, I've had a couple different jobs. I've traveled the world. I've made so many friends. I don't regret any of it, for sure. I don't regret any of it. But it would be immature of me to, like, not try to actually take this seriously enough to consider, like, when it's time to move on, right? And again, like I said, I'm, like, halfway, and I think halfway is so much closer than 99.99% of people who tried streaming and making YouTube videos ever get. Halfway to feeling like you're sustainable enough that you can take this on full time is huge, and I am proud of that. And I think what I've said to my brother in the past was, you know, like at the start of the year, my goal was like I wanted to work hard and try to get like the silver YouTube play button. We're not going to get there. We're not. And I think it's like the sort of thing you shoot for the stars, worst thing you land among, or shoot for the moon, worst thing you land among the stars or whatever, right? I think that like having that really strong goal for myself was great. I'm not going to make it. So how do we pivot? What do we learn from this? How do we move from there? I still would love to reach that goal someday. I think that if someday if someday the channel gets to 100,000 subscribers, it'll probably be the single biggest achievement of my life. You know, I've worked very hard on many different things over the years, between being a competitive swimmer, all of like the time that I spent in school, like there's lots of things that I've worked hard on. But I think that if I was to earn that silver YouTube play button someday, it would be the single biggest achievement of my entire life. And I would love to get there. And like, I'm not saying that I believe I would never get it. It's just like being reasonable. I'm not going to get, 60,000 subscribers in the next 2 months. Thank you for the shiny luck, Blake. Yeah, I guess like, okay, so this conversation kind of all started because somebody asked what my goals with YouTube and Twitch were and everything. Does anybody have any other questions or comments or anything about all of that? Does anybody have any constructive criticism or feedback? Not just saying like, Rex, stop crying. Because that comment was not particularly helpful. The most successful people I know believe in themselves almost to the point of delusion. I think that I believe in my capabilities, and I am proud when I prove that I can exceed them. But I also just think that like having the honest to goodness belief that I would hit 100,000 subscribers before the end of the year, which was my initial goal, would be past the point of delusion. It would not, if I was to hit 100,000 subscribers before the end of the year, it would not be because I had worked any harder than I've worked in the past. It would be purely due to luck. It would be producing something that managed to really hook on to audiences in a way that I had never done before, but not because I like had learned something new. It would probably be a fluke. Something that I would need to analyze very deeply. I know it's the most pandering part of videos, but asking for subs, comments, and likes in the video actually does help push videos because of the algorithm. Yeah, and like I am aware of that. I do incorporate it into all of my videos nowadays, you know, just the reminder to like subscribe. I try to give you a reason to do so that you'll be notified in the future for a video. Personally, I have never clicked subscribe because of somebody saying, you know, but before we start the video, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If that works, I guess that's fine, but I don't think that I would do it because I don't think that that's really garnering fans that are worth anything. Though that is putting together fans that are worthless. Maybe I could try it in my next video after the intro. After the intro rolls, maybe I should say like, you know, before we dive in, make sure you get subscribed. Because maybe then at least then I've demonstrated some sort of value. They've seen the intro and they're like, holy shit, okay, there's like some high value here. But I usually try to put it middle and or third quarter of the video. Okay, so I'll try that. Next time, Next time I produce a video, we will try maybe just quickly dropping it in after the intro rolls. You've subbed because people ask. I guess the difference there is like, if you subscribe before watching the video, who are you subscribed to? But like, okay, so if you hit subscribe before the video starts or before you've watched the video, like, what is the subscription worth? It's not worth anything. Like, are you more likely? You're not going to hit the next person's video because you didn't even watch through it yet. I personally think that the subscription click should be like I like this person's content, I want to see more of it. Oh, okay. How have we actually not gotten a shiny yet? Like, for real. What the heck? This is crazy. No, like I agree. I think that subscribing is something that I forget to do as well. And the recommendation is important. I am not saying that the recommendation isn't important. Or like the reminder to subscribe isn't important. I just think when it happens is important. Yo, Reggie, thank you for the shiny luck. Welcome on into the Professor's Lab. I'm sure you've never been here before, so get comfy. Sierra's recommendation is you have to get away from trying to achieve something. That'll just make the experience way too serious and you'll be afraid to try certain things.
Followed and the lab has
Have
grown.
fun with it and be yourself. I think that that is great. I think that is great advice for somebody who's just getting into it. I think that's great advice for somebody who's just getting into content creation. And isn't considering it as anything other than like something fun to do. I agree. Shiny Charmander. If only. If only. But I think that having goals is important. I think that for myself, like setting deadlines, like I set the deadline for myself of, I want to have 2 videos done before Legends ZA comes out. I got home from Montreal and my goal was I want to have 2 videos done before Legends ZA. And that did light a bit of a fire. You know, I had to acknowledge that time needed to be prioritized on getting those done. I needed to acknowledge that I couldn't do it 100% perfectly. I needed to acknowledge that like 90% was much better. Getting 1 video done to 2 videos done to 90% was going to be much better than getting 0 videos done to 100%, because the last 10% takes a lot longer, right? And the second video that I made actually did way better than I thought it would. I had absolutely no expectations of the video on the Tandem Mouse doing anywhere near as well as it did. The Tandem Mouse video, even though I didn't even get the Tandem Mouse, and I still need to make a part 2, like that video did way better than I was planning for it to do. And that's like, that's great. Those are the sorts of things where like, if you try to just like, quote unquote, have fun with it and, you know, don't set yourself goals and deadlines, then like you'll miss out on a lot of that stuff, I think. But everybody's gonna be different for that. Out of curiosity, how do you afford all the Pokemon stuff? So historically, my brother and I have actually had extremely well-paying jobs. One of the reasons that I am not like super stressed out, everybody. Like one of the reasons that I would love to reach like some small level of sustainability in content creation is because I don't have a whole lot of overhead in my day-to-day life. I am happy to live in like a $500 apartment. I've done it before. Like there's nothing wrong with that in my mind, right? I'm happy to do it. I don't need fancy things. I don't drive a fancy car. I never intend to drive a fancy car. I don't buy fancy expensive clothes. But historically I've had very high paying jobs. So that money has gone into buying Pokemon. My brother is a nuclear engineer and works as a nuclear operator. And then I have worked as a automotive sales rep and been like top leading sales rep at multiple dealerships. Deep down, I just like have, in the way that I think it was Blake was saying earlier, you know, like some of the most successful people have like believe in themselves to the point of delusion. For a very long time, I had very little faith in my own abilities. I was very stressed out about like the concept of failure. You know, I had put so much pressure on myself to succeed, not in YouTube, just in like in life. Even when I was in university, I had put so much pressure on myself to like utilize all of the skill sets that I had to the best of their ability. And I was very stressed about falling short of any of that. And what I've learned in my adult life is that I am competent, I am capable, and I don't necessarily, like, I don't need to stress about waking up tomorrow and having money. In all honesty, here's where it sits right now. If in 2 months I finish my Pokemon Rescue Project video and it doesn't do well, and I need to say, okay, you know what? We gave it a try. We thought maybe, you know, making YouTube videos full time would be fun and interesting, but we don't succeed. I will probably be able to track down a job that will pay me over 100,000 Canadian dollars a year tomorrow. And that would immediately be about 9 times more than what I'm making right now with YouTube. And it would actually be less work. So it'd be less work, 9 times more money. The trade-off would be I would be doing something that I didn't want to do. I would be doing something that, in my perspective, doesn't put anything positive into the world. I want to find success in making the YouTube videos or in streaming because I think that there is some value that I have. I think I have something unique that I can put into the world that nobody else can. And okay, Blake is saying like maybe you could do both. And I've tried. There's the job that I would probably take would be like I could easily tomorrow go get a job working at just about any car dealership. Based off of my history in auto sales, and my track record and my sales record, any dealership would be thrilled to take me on as a sales representative. But I just don't want to do that. And it's exhausting. It takes up all of my mental energy to work, you know, generally in sales, I was working like 6 days a week. Talking to customers 8 hours a day, spending an extra hour to an hour and a half Sending emails, making phone calls. You know, it was like I was working straight, probably 10 hours a day, 5.5 days a week. And that took up all of my energy. I would love to say that, like, I could do both. But I just know that, like, I would not have the energy to do both to the level that I would want, because when I've worked in sales in the past, I end up with my social battery drained and I am exhausted on the 1 day off a week I usually get, which is Sunday when the car dealerships are closed. Would I take $1 million to promote gambling? Yeah. Like, I have strong stances on the fact that gambling is a terrible, terrible thing to be promoting. But if somebody offered me $1 million to promote gambling, I would take it, because I know for a fact that I would be able to do far more good with $1 million than that company would be doing with it. Like, if I got $1 million USD, so that's like 1.5 million Canadian dollars, I would be able to pretty much do whatever I wanted. And one of the things that I would want to do with that money is I would love to actually put proper funding into the Special Olympics sports teams where I live. The funding that we have available here is atrocious, and it makes it nearly impossible for those teams to actually exist. One of the reasons that I'm no longer the head coach of the Special Olympics swim team that I have here in my town is that with my traveling, I couldn't be at practice every single day. And the people that I was able to find that could help also couldn't commit to it because it's an unpaid job. So for $1 million, I would probably do a lot of things because I could put that money into doing a lot of good. Okay, this guy's banned. How do I ban them? Perfect. Really like the way you make your videos. It's obvious you're willing to put in a lot of work. You really think there's a lot of content to be made. Imagine like a really good Pokemon Ranger history documentary type video, for example. I don't think I know anything about the history of Pokemon Ranger. I think that taking on any additional projects will probably be out of the wheelhouse for now. Like if I pull up my little list, docs. Here, what do we have? Okay, I can mark this off as done. Rename that. Okay. A huge video that I want to do. I need to finish that one. Huge video is the coolest shiny hunt in every generation of Pokemon. That is like a 1.5 hour video, most likely. That is a huge project that I want to finish. And that is something that I know a lot about. And a lot of that script is done. Why Synchronize changes shiny rates in Pokemon in Generation 3 and 4. Huge video. Most of the script is done. I want to finish that. 5 more pieces of rare Pokemon history. I have the items picked out. That would be a fun one to make. The Pokemon Rescue Project. That is a huge one to produce. Top 10 rarest Pokemon in my brother's collection would be a big one. Each of my friends' favorite Pokemon and why Pokemon means so much to us. Shiny hunt for the shiny Groudon costume in Pokemon Battle Revolution. Why throwing bait at Metang in the Heart Gold Soul Silver Safari Zone is the best way to hunt for Metang. The Brock Strat in Pokemon Fire Leaf Green. How many phases it would actually take to catch all the shiny in Generation 3. Another one that we're working on is like how much uranium does it take to find a shiny. Stealing an entire team of shiny Pokemon Battle Revolution. 10 shinies you'll never find again. So like I only did 5 shinies you'll never find again. So like doing part 2 of that. The top 10 rarest shiny Pokemon in Generation 3 just by the numbers. There's so much. There's so much that I would want to do. I'm not like... One of the problems I guess I have is I'm not out of ideas. I have too many. And I need to be able to narrow my focus and lock into making them. I think a lot of, like somebody earlier was saying that they find a lot of the YouTube videos that are out there right now, or the ones that they're seeing, are kind of cookie cutter YouTube videos. And I'm not, I don't really watch that much Pokemon YouTube, so I can't say for certain if that's the case. But I think a lot of content creators end up reaching a point where they feel like they don't have any new ideas. And I definitely am not in that boat. My brother and I were talking about it recently, and we kind of said like, what was I going to say? We said, or Kyle said, I like the content that we make because sometimes we just say, wow, that's a really dumb idea. And then we do it anyways. And I think that sums up a lot of things, you know? A lot of my favorite content is it's like, that's a stupid idea. Let's do it. Any plans on making a video about the Pokemon Go Wild Area event this month and the Go Safari Ball transfers? Yeah, I think I gotta do some like proper digging into it for sure.
Luck.
Yo, Shade, thank you for the freaking shiny luck, dude. More luck for sure. I appreciate it. I cannot believe I'm actually flabbergasted though. We've been at this for 2 hours and 20 minutes. And it's not that we haven't seen shiny Charmander or shiny Tepig yet. We just haven't seen a shiny yet. Shade, it has been a while. It's been too long. But yeah, Reggie, I gotta do a lot more research. I think one of the things that I need to figure out is I need to do some digging into like what special research might people actually have stacked that could have some of those Pokemon. Top 2 games have Shiny Charm, and so the top 2 are Professor Tops and the Professor Rex Switch 2 save files. And the Switch 1 on the bottom left does not have the Shiny Charm. So we are looking at 2 Shiny Charms, 1 non-Shiny Charm. Yeah, Shade, I hope you've been doing well as well. Yeah, so I think, Reggie, I needed to like sit down. I needed to look a little bit more deeply at what special research other people I know might have stacked up. Because, like I said, right now, if you go out and you grind, I need to do that actually. It's probably going to be one of the things I'm going to work on while I'm in Montreal, I should have a lot more time to sit down and do research while I'm in Montreal. There's a wild Embor at my house. Would be like, okay, what can we stack, right? Because what Pokemon were important to have, or what Pokemon are we looking at for Safari? Go Safari. Okay. Weedle, Wurmple, Tailo, Skitty, Castform, Clamperl, Burmy, Glameow, Chatot, Fion, Patrat, Pansage, Pansear, Panpour, and Furfrou are all Pokemon that are unavailable in Safari Balls outside of Pokemon Go right now, potentially. I have a Furfrou that I got during the wild area in 2024. Right now, there's a quest reward potentially that can stack Clamperl. There's a quest reward that can stack Glameow, so I want to work on grabbing those quests. I just gotta grind doing those quests, I think. Sorry, Shade. Shade said you're doing okay. More busy, less hunting. Less hunting time. Oh, shoot. But besides busy doing life stuff, you're pretty okay? I'm glad to hear that you're pretty okay. It's good to see you, regardless. If you're willing to start a new account, Weedle and Glameow are easily accessible from the Mega Introduction research and the Meloetta research that everyone gets. Okay. Yeah, I do have a couple of accounts that I actually started up fresh. A little video that I wanted to push out was... I got a level 8 Shadow Tornadus. So I want to push out a little video about that because I got it, like, I caught it at level 8 and the account is level 8. It was very difficult, actually. And I think that is like the lowest level legendary available in a Premier Ball. From Go, at least. So I would like to push out a little video about that. And so I do have accounts set up. So you've already done some research. I would love to like chat about it more. Meta, Weedle and Glameow are accessible from Mega Introduction research and the Meloetta research that everyone gets. I guess the other thing is like you got to stack those up, and then you got to buy the ticket on those accounts. So that'll be a little bit of extra funds being spent. I also need to decide where I'm going to do the event. It might just be something that I do in Toronto. You don't have the game yet. Barely watched it. Barely seen anything about the game. Right now, we're just kind of running into the spawn radius of the fire starter Pokemon in this desert area. And then if they don't spawn, we're flying back to the area kind of at the start of our little loop here, because that forcibly respawns everything. You can also get Safari Balls without a ticket, Meta says. Or Reggie says. Okay. I mean, that's an option. Okay. How for real though have we not seen we not seen a shiny? Like, for real, actually, though. This is insane. I'm about to go to a Halloween party and then study for another 20 days. Have any parting words of advice or wisdom? I think Sierra's advice about, like, pursuing things that you enjoy and that you have fun with are definitely correct. If you look at, like, if you look at my YouTube channel, besides the theme of Pokemon and shiny Pokemon, there's not necessarily a lot of overlap between the videos. Because I'm just, like, still trying to find, like, I think I have a little bit of, like, ADD in that I just have an idea and I want to pursue it and I want to research it and I want to teach people about it, right? But, like, realistically, the overlap between, if we look at my videos, the 5 shiny Pokemon we'll never find again, and then the how to find Mirage Island using Spinda, like, those are videos that pretty much base themselves off of almost entirely separate areas of knowledge in the Pokemon sphere. So, I don't know, just if you have an idea, just follow it. Just follow your ideas. Think I was hoping to get a couple of phases in today. I think I'm just feeling like maybe we do 1 phase. Thank you for the shiny luck, Blake, and have a great time at your Halloween party. Yeah, maybe we just, like, chase down 1 phase and then call it a day, because what the heck is this? My brother got his shiny Charmander in, like, 20 minutes. Maybe it was longer than that, but, like, still, he definitely didn't spend 2.5 hours on it. Tally, thank you so much. They said that they love the videos. They're a fun niche. Don't think many people have the knowledge to make it or do. Yeah, I think that, like, I kind of agree. I have to agree. It took you 4 hours of loops to get a Charmander. You also need to remember, this is Shiny Charm on 2 systems, right? So 2.5 hours is, like, this is actually 4 hours of shiny hunting for your normal everyday person. Yo.
Z's Night Nights has followed and the lab has grown.
Ziz Night Night, thank you for the follow. Welcome on into the Professor's Lab. If you didn't catch it, my name is Professor Rex. It's absolutely great to have you here. I hope that you're all having a wonderful Halloween night. I got myself out to a Halloween party last night, so I think that I have successfully Halloweened. We watched Halloween Town and the Scooby-Doo movie. Got your last elemental monkey with the charm. Started almost the same time as the stream. Now you're at 117 out of 227 for the shiny living dex. Oh my goodness. Wait, you got all 3 monkeys, or you just got, like, one of the monkeys today? And how are you shiny hunting the monkey? Monkey! If you're not going for the alpha monkeys, like... Ugh. The runaways in that one area are so good. Shiny me. Shiny me now, game. Come on. This is crazy. Ugh. Like, did they push out an update? They pushed an update that turned off all the shinies in the game or something? They must have. It's the only possible option. One moment, everyone. Okay, shiny hunting. Just had to deal with some teenagers riding the mobility scooters like go-karts. Kinda sick, though. Kinda sick. You got the last one, so you have all 6 now. Okay, so you got 2 of each because you're doing the living decks. I guess that makes sense. The roof on the round building next to the wild area, 13. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Yep. That's the area that I kind of talked about in my most recent video, running back and forth on that rooftop up there. Exactly. I think that is the best place to hunt for the monkeys. Definitely I guess the sort of hunt that I would want to do, but I already succeeded in doing it. I got the shiny alpha Pansage by accident while doing that that hunt, or while prepping, like while researching the YouTube video. I got that shiny. This is genuinely the first real shiny hunt I've done in the game. And it's kind of funny that the first real shiny hunt I'm doing, just absolutely no luck. I swear, we've seen at least 1,000 Charmanders. What was my least favorite part of working retail? When I worked for the Bell store, I have a lot of what I think to be very funny stories from working at the Bell store, that were genuinely pretty frustrating, but also kind of funny. Like, I don't know. I had this one guy who would like come into the store and just take his shoes off. I'm like, brother, get out. Get out of the store. Put your dang shoes on. And then I would have to like spray Febreze to deal with the smell. I had one guy who would come in once every couple weeks because he had Bell Internet. And he would come in and he would insist that his neighbors were spying on his internet usage and that they had like hacked his router. And he would give me reasons like, I was looking at a funny meme and I could hear my neighbors laughing through the wall. So I like know that they must have been looking at the same meme that I did. They were watching what I was doing. And then he would say things like, yeah, my neighbors are Russian spies. There's aliens that live across from my apartment that look at me through the window. Like you can see them with their telescopes looking through my window. Things like, you know, in the E.T. movie when like E.T. does like this, and that he like lifts that shit up and that shit floats. Like, how did ET do that? And then I said, well, it's fantasy. And he says, haha, fantasy my ass. Or he hit me with the, so like, we're flying through space, right? And there's planets like flying with us. Aliens. I kind of like that guy. My boss told me not to engage with him. My boss always told me to kick him out of the store, but it was the only like brief moments of humor that I got out of doing that job, so I usually engaged with him when the owner of the store wasn't there. My least favorite part of working retail, though, at least working at that Bell store, was probably dealing with the police, because there was somebody that brought their phone in to transfer, or like got a new phone and asked me to help them do their transfer, and the phone was just full of pictures of underage children. And I had to just stall them, being like, oh yeah, well, we're just waiting for everything to transfer over. And then like brought the phones into the back, called the police, but the police took like 4 hours to show up. So I told them, like, the person is here right now. I have the evidence. And then I stalled him for like another 45 minutes. And then he just got like really agitated, so I gave him the phone and he left. And I gave the cops all the information, but they didn't show up until like 4 hours after I called. And I was like, that's so messed up. Anyways, then I was told that like if I ever did that again, I could be fired. And I said, fuck you. Oh, frick you, whatever. Pokemon's never going to partner with me again anyways. I'm going to do that. Yeah, that was probably my least favorite experience working retail. That and getting spit on. There was this like lady who came in. I was dealing with another customer. I finished dealing with them. She comes up to the counter and she's like, you know, you could have at least asked me what I needed help with. I've been waiting here for 5 minutes, and what I need help with will only take a few seconds. And I said, okay, well, I mean, there's only one of me. It's first come, first serve. And she said, something, something, something. I can't remember. It was years ago. And then she said, you go to hell. So disrespectful. And then she spat on me and stormed out. And I think that the only piece of humor that I took from that experience was that she had a big golden cross necklace. And I was like, that is... Yep, that is the love thy neighbor, I'm sure. I am sure of it. And then that day was actually that was the day that I wrote my resignation letter. Was when I realized, oh, everybody hates me for doing my job, even though I do it well, and Bell doesn't give us any mental health support. Why wouldn't Pokemon partner with me? Pokemon partnered with me for the Hawaii Pokemon World Championships, and then partnered with everybody else the next year, except for me. So maybe they will, I don't know, but they partnered with everybody else this like most recent Worlds that they partnered with previously, except for me. So I don't know. I'm just not worrying about it. The swearing I had tried to curb for a long time because I wanted to like fit within the Pokemon ambassador regulations or whatever, but it doesn't matter. I'd rather just enjoy making content than trying to follow some arbitrary rules that only apply to some people and not to others. There must be some shinies here somewhere. Oh, Tony. I'm excited. Oh, I have to book my tickets to EUIC. My goodness. You know, actually, I'm just thinking. What was I thinking? Something about Tony. Tony, EUIC. Oh, yeah. I don't know. If Pokemon wanted to work with me, I've given them plenty. I've given them plenty of opportunities. I got threatened that if I brought Pokemon Rescue to the World Championships in Anaheim this year, I would be banned, like, entirely. I would lose my professor certification, so I could no longer be a judge. I would be banned from future Pokemon Pokemon Championships series events, like banned entirely from play Pokemon if I attended with Pokemon Rescue. And I got back to them, and they were actually super quick. Like, honestly, I'm very glad. They were very quick to respond to me. And we got things kind of worked out. I was able to attend. I wasn't banned. All good. They said, you know, if you ever want to bring this to another event in the future, just reach out and contact us. So my next plan was like, okay, I'll bring the rescue station to Milwaukee. Milwaukee is in, like, you know, early October. That should give me lots of time to get things figured out with them. So I sent them an email like August 22nd or so, saying, hey, you know, I'd be interested in potentially bringing this to the Milwaukee regionals. You know, would we be able to discuss how that would look, what sort of options are available, all that. They did not respond for over a month and a half. They responded to that email 3.5 days after the Milwaukee regionals had ended, with just saying, sorry, we didn't get back to this in time and we missed the event. You know, they didn't acknowledge anything else, just said, sorry, we missed this. And then I responded quickly. I was like, you know what? It happens. I'd love to still have the opportunity to bring this to other events that are coming up, like EUIC and the Toronto Regionals. Maybe we could discuss that. And I just haven't heard back. I would love to find ways to work with them, or just, like, you know, have opportunities, but I just don't think it's gonna happen. I'm so jealous. Lots of other creators are getting all of their Legends ZA little goodie bags and everything, and I don't think at all that I'm, like, deserving of it or that I'm entitled to it, but I think that it does suck to kind of see that I was approved as a featured content creator once, and then I was the only one that was excluded moving forward. Keep spamming them? Good idea. I'll send another email today after stream. Hit them back. I actually did speak with one of the organizers for the Milwaukee regionals, and they pretty much said, they were like, yeah, I mean, really the only option is to just keep reaching out through official channels. And he did kind of recommend, he was like, your best bet is probably just kind of like keep messaging them until they get back to you with an answer. You know, like, I guess that would be much better than nothing. An answer of no is still better than just, like, not having an answer. Heck is this shiny dude? Yeah, I mean, Philip, regardless of what they say, We'll figure out a way to host Pokemon Rescue at EUIC. It would be nice to be able to host it in the like area, but it's a very big venue. I'm sure we'll be able to find somewhere. The most successful people are the ones that don't give up. That's fair. But perhaps in my mind, I just think like it's the sort of thing where they had the ability to respond within 1 day before. So the fact that it took them a month and a half to respond the second time is on purpose. Nope, this isn't macros, so I'm using a Wavebird. It is a wireless GameCube controller. All three of the switches are just set up to the same radio frequency. And then I'm controlling all three of them with just the same controller. Yeah, exactly, Tony. Like worst comes to worst, like there's all the places where the vendors set up to illegally sell things. There's benches, tables, like second floor. There are plenty of potential options for sure. Imagine if you gave up on shiny hunts, you'd never have a successful shiny hunt. You can have successful shiny hunts even if you like would have given up on them very early, you know? You can have shiny hunts that just are super fast. And then it wouldn't matter if you were going to give up on them or not, you would have already got the target. But the ones that are the most worthwhile hunts, the ones that are most worth pursuing are the ones that you wouldn't give up. You'll bring a Pokemon we can rescue together. Don't you have everything that you would need to rescue a Pokemon, Philip? You just want to use the rescue station, don't you? How goes the shiny hunting? A lot worse than I was expecting. I'm not gonna lie. I was expecting that we would at least like get a Hippowdon or something. But so far today, we've been shiny hunting for almost 3 hours with no shinies. Yeah, bottom left one's the Switch 1. The top two are Switch 2s. Exactly. Exactamundo. I've seen so many Charmanders and things. Where are the shinies? Like actually, genuinely, the two Switch 2s have shiny charm. If I was to do this as an AFK hunt, I would genuinely have expected to already have a shiny by now. There are some quirks that we're still working out. Like I said at the end of my video, like new information is coming out about how this game works every single day. And that's not surprising. Like, think about it. You look at Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green, and like there was still stuff that I was discovering 5 years ago. And those are games from far, far, far long ago. The expectation of like, yeah, we'll know everything about Legends ZA in 2 weeks. I think that's a pretty tall ask. There's obviously going to be stuff that we're going to be learning. And I'm looking forward to it. But why we don't have a shiny yet? Beyond me. Yeah, VRT I already do. Don't worry about it. I already can claim these as taxable things. In Canada, I don't know how it works in other countries. In Canada, you don't need to register as like a private, or you don't need to register a company as anything other than just like self-employment until the income is over $30,000 a year, I believe. And you can still use those as tax write-offs up until that point, even if it's just under personal means. Trying to get a shiny living dex all with the same trainer ID. Sounds like the sort of thing that would have been very easy until the Switch comes into until the Switch era of games. I know that there's RNG manipulation for everything up to Sun and Moon. I don't know if there's any RNG manipulation for trainer IDs past that. But I think that on the Switch, you would be looking at like pretty well just having to hack your trainer ID if you wanted to have the same ID number. And of all the things to hack, I think that is the least important. If somebody hacks their trainer ID, I will never bother thinking twice about it. Okay. We've been live for 3 hours already. Oh, okay. OT, not ID. Okay, that makes more sense. I was like, trainer ID is going to require some serious RNG manipulation. That's kind of impressive. Trainer OT is definitely doable. I think we'll do another 30 minutes before potentially calling it a night here. I think that 3.5 hours of shiny hunting is more than enough for one day as it sits right now. Today my goal was to kind of get some rest and try to catch up on being very behind on sleep and very behind on just being a functional human person. This is my first day since I left for Milwaukee where I haven't had like somebody else that would have been like worried about when I woke up or something, you know? First time I've been able to just sleep in without somebody else having to wait around for me. I have to start packing to go to go to Montreal. I'm gonna try to get my laptop set up to stream at least like very simple streams off of my laptop, or potentially at least just like set it up to AFK shiny hunt for me. Add things to my Pokedex. Is this the best way to get the starters? As far as I know. Put a screenshot in the Go Safari channel. Okay, let me see here. What does the search for Zarude offer? you just mean you want to catch Safari Ball Zarude? I don't think that one will work. Yo. Zarude. You probably won't be able to get Zarude in the Safari Ball. I think that I was reading that like people were saying a lot of those like special research requirements wouldn't let the Safari Ball work. We can try. They let you use yeah. So my Zarude isn't a great ball, I think, as well. But I think people were saying that even if it lets you use non-standard balls, it wouldn't let you use Safari balls. I think I have like a little bit of proof of this. When did I catch those Safari Ball mons? Safari Ball. Okay, November 2024. I think I should have a video of me trying to get my... Okay, November 23rd. Yeah, it's a shiny Electrike, shiny huge Tyrantrum, shiny Skorupi. Do I have the video of me trying to catch my research reward? I have a video of me catching my Necrozma and then it forcing it to be in a Beast Ball. Wait, did I transfer in a Toxicity? Oh, I did. Huh, I didn't even realize I had transferred one in that got the alternate nature. That's good. I guess I don't have any video proof of it, Meta, but I'm pretty sure that I tried using my Safari Ball on my Go Battle League reward research, and it wouldn't let me do it. No, Jomina, I'm a... Zarude is different in Go. Zarude will, like, always let you use different balls. The last used ball bug, I do know about it. I have a shiny Celebi in a Great Ball because of it. But Zarude is different. Zarude and Hoopa, you can always use different balls on them. It actually just allows you to select different balls. So yeah, I guess you can test Zarude with the Great Ball. It'll be worth it. Or sorry, in the Safari Ball. I think I might start by limiting myself to like the... I'm going to try the legendary Articuno, or sorry, the Zapdos Moltres and Articuno. Because I have that paid research still. I haven't caught any of the Zapdos, Moltres, or Articuno, so I'll leave like at least Articuno stacked and see if I can Safari Ball Articuno. But yeah, it would be really cool to work on a video of like trying to catch every Pokemon available in the Safari Ball. Oh, sorry, every like breedable Pokemon for the Safari Balls. So like wrap up the full Safari Ball list. And I'll probably end up just like using Roar of Time to use a daily adventure incense the whole event. No reason that this shouldn't be working. I will say it is too bad that we don't have like marks on our Pokemon in this game. It would have been pretty cool to have also had the opportunity to shiny hunt for different weather marks. Yeah, no worries, Jamina. It's the last used ball bug for catching mythicals in different balls is really cool. But a couple of them, for whatever reason, can use different balls. And then we just got confirmation recently that the Safari Ball, the Go Safari Ball, will be transferable into Pokemon Home. And the expectation is most likely that it'll become a regular Safari Ball. If it becomes a regular Pokeball, I guess that'll be a very big sad face. But I want to try to dive into figuring out, like, okay, how can we try to catch all of the Pokemon that are available in Safari Balls that, like, can't be bred in Safari Balls yet, and wrap that up. I did catch a Furfur last year, so I have at least one. There's a couple of quest rewards to try and track down that can give Clamperl. That's another one. Back to your most hated hunt for now, Cleffa in Area 19. Why do you hate that one? I don't know. I feel like realistically, there's not that many hunts in ZA that are worthy of hate, like truly being hated. You know, like I feel like most of the hunts are pretty cool. Other than all the AFK ones, like the ones that you do kind of need to put some effort into, like you're just running around in 3D looking for Pokemon. That's pretty cool. Picked up the Glamia last year and can catch the Might and Mastery Research Silicune for the Wurmple line this year. Wait, okay, which research is that, Reggie? Might and Mastery. Is it like a paid special research that I can just go and pick up? It's the free research everyone got this season. Maybe I already finished it. Special Might and Mastery. Oh. I'm already at number 5 for that one. I guess Might and Mastery Maybe I already caught them. But I am gonna look through. Oh wait, no, Might and Mastery, the one that I have just gives Charcadet, not Silicon. I don't know. I'm gonna look through Kyle, my brother's account as well, because he should have like a bunch of research stacked. They're 4 to 5. Charcadet is 5 out of 5 on the same research, so I already fought mine. I bet you Kyle has not done his, so I will have a way to do it. How close do you have to be to hear the Pokemon Sparkle? I think I've had a few people asking. What I've heard is that you will usually hear the Sparkle kind of like when they spawn in, and then you'll hear the Sparkle again when you look at them. Having to get 3 shiny Gibbles in this game is going to be painful. I would actually recommend, if you're doing like a shiny living dex, instead of going for 3 Gibbles, do 2 Gibbles, because you have to do a Gibble and a Gibite. But then just do a bunch of shiny hunts for the Zone 20 alphas, because you can get Alpha Garchomp in here. And there's a lot of Pokemon in here, in that area, that would be worth getting. So I would say just like do a frick ton of phases in that area. Yeah, like if you wanted to kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone, an option would be to do something like fly here, run in here, and then fly back. I think that it'll be a little bit difficult for me to do wave birding of that, just because of the fact that you can only fly when you're not currently under aggro. Yeah, I don't know. I should, as far as I know, have found a shiny. I think I'm just really unlucky. Benching in that area for the starters, you got Bulbasaur and Chikorita. Okay, so if you're benching where you can get Bulbasaur and Chikorita, you're also within range of being able to get the alphas, the center alphas, the Angie starters, or the Angie alphas. That's the ones under here. So yeah, I guess you can just bench a bunch of them. That might be the best thing to do. Yeah, I think that, like, honestly, I feel like this is the most interesting way to hunt for the starters. I think that there's a lot of hunts in this game that don't require a whole lot of actual human input, and at least having like a couple that require you running around and doing stuff is cool. But yeah, the night reset method would also work. That would just be like standing in the center of the desert area, saving just before night falls, and then just resetting, letting the night cycle happen, and then resetting again. I am kind of impressed by the consistency of how the game runs, though. Because usually when I'm playing a 3D game with the Wavebird, I still find that things kind of fall out of sync. But, like, look at this. Games are pretty well synced up. Despite, well, I mean, other than the Switch 1, that's super far behind. But when I'm running around, like, both of these end up reaching the threshold for the 50-meter mark for the spawn point at like the same time, then I can fly back. It's very nice. Yeah, I think what I'll probably do is I'll bring my laptop, I'll bring one of my Switches, and I might just do like a lot of bench resetting, like automated bench resetting for the alpha starters under Engi while I'm there. This is Ash and Go from Pokemon Journeys the series. What the frick is this nonsense? This is nonsense. How? 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 3 hours, 20 minutes? It's like after all this 7 hours of shiny hunting with charm. 0 shinies. Is something wrong? Like we're getting alpha Charmanders. We're getting like random alpha Lucarios. Straight nonsensical. It's still under odds. Each soft reset is 30 seconds on average, so it's 120 an hour. Well, yes, but you're not only seeing like one each time, right? Like each time we do this fly, on average, we should be seeing a lot more than one Pokemon. Oh, wow. There we go. Oh. We can walk away with at least one phase. Thank goodness. Can everybody see that? Thank goodness. Finally. Finally, a shiny Lucario. Not what we wanted, but better than nothing. Okay, there we go. Hey, yo. Okay, I am kind of curious because, you know, now we've been doing this. We've been running around. We've been doing the shiny checks for Charmander this whole time. That Lucario, will it still be here? If there's a shiny that's spawned in this zone, will it like always be there when you return to the area? Yeah. Okay. We've just been crazy unlucky. So if I fly back one more time. Yeah, I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to complain. Shiny Lucario is still pretty cool. I already have 2 shiny Riolu. It's true. Sometimes we're just unlucky. Okay. What ball should we use for you, Mr. Lucario? I think... yeah, we'll just put you in the Premier Ball. So funny, I can't lock on, so I can't even attack. The Wave Bird can't attack. Ba-da-ba-bum-bum-bum-ba-da. Cute. It's right there again, though. Hey, yo, there we go. Okay. First phase for the Shalfa Charmander is down. Shiny Lucario. I'm sure that there's going to be plenty more where that came from. Let's take a look. Nature guesses, everybody? Nature guesses? Brave, Naughty. I'm going to go with Adamant. No, it's Lonely. A classic. Okay, so we can put that in the box. Next to Riolu. There we go. Perfect. Well, like I said, I think we were going to do one phase. I think we'll do a few more encounters just because we can. We'll do a few more, and then that'll be it. Female is rare. Oh shoot, is Lucario also 1 to 7? Damn. Okay. Okay. Look, at least we got something cool. At least we got something cool. Something cool to wrap up Halloween. It was kind of a special Halloween horror. Professor Rex spent 6 years shiny hunting the Pokemon, just for none of them to be shiny. And when he did find the shiny, it wasn't his target. Ooh. Gotta go for the Shalfa female Lucario. What do we think? Shalfa female Lucario or Shalfa Charmander first? I'm not gonna go for a gender on Charmander. I'm not that serious. But Shalfa female Lucario or Shalfa female Charmander? What will be first? Shiny Alpha Charmander. Okay. 3 more resets, and then I'm going to wish everybody a very, very happy Halloween evening, and then we'll catch everybody in the next one. Yeah, you know what? This was great. Thank you all, everybody over on YouTube, everybody over on Twitch. If you're watching on YouTube or Twitch and you haven't followed, you haven't subscribed, be sure to do so. If you're following on Twitch and you just happen to have your Amazon Prime and you haven't used it, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Just as a note for everybody, if you become a channel member on YouTube or on a subscriber on Twitch, you do get your names put at the end of each Professor Rex uploads, so be sure to do that. And you can be shiny Pokemon at the bottom of the stream avatars during every stream, and you can always look for your avatar. You know, if I find a shiny and I'm live, you can always watch back the video and be like, look, that little Breloom, that was me. That being said, I think that wraps it all up here. Thank you, everybody. We will, you know what, we'll do one run around. There's like a 50-meter radius. We'll do a run around. Maybe I have like found a random shiny and I just didn't see it or something. Dara Bobera. Ma'am. What are the odds that you would be here? Yeah, I guess I should probably check Area 5. Oh my goodness. That's where all the shiny luck was. Are you serious? That's 2. Oh my goodness. There was no shiny luck in zone 20, but there was enough shiny luck to get 2 shiny alpha Bellsprout. Are you joking me? Oh, this is angry. This one's angry. Oh my goodness, of course. That's what the problem was. Oh, wait. Why did I hear another shiny Sparkles? Oh, what the heck? Just another Bellsprout? Okay. Sure, game. Okay, so we got no Charmanders. Took us 3.5 hours to get a Lucario, but that was because in the background over here. Oh, what the heck? This one too? Literally, both of the... That's absurd. Two Bellsprout, 2 Alpha Bellsprout. At least we went to check. This is ridiculous. You say Bellsprout like such a Canadian. Bellsprout. Bellsprout. I don't say like Bellsprout. Bellsprout. It's not true. It's a slander. Okay. So we checked that everything over here, we were just getting shiny Bellsprouts. I just spawned a regular alpha. Okay. Well, I guess we're gonna just have to keep track, you know? How many Bellsprout do we find before we get the shiny Charmander? How many Bellsprout does it take before your skin turns pink? Okay, well, What was I was saying a bunch of things before. Same things go. You know, make sure you hit that follow button, smack that subscribe button. We have many more attempts at Charmander in the future, obviously. So keep an eye out for those, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye.